Alert, alert, idiot detected.
This idea that we can't even have a conversation with the other side?
You have to. They won.
Thank you. That's it, the bottom line. And by the way, or the notion we just have to continue to talk to ourselves, or we're in the same damn echo chamber. These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now.
This notion from Gavin Newsom that the Democratic Party is toxic because of the fact that we won't talk to Republicans or placate to Republicans is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. It makes it like that's why we lost the election, because we didn't take in the ideas of the Republican Party. My response to that is, when Donald Trump was running for president and won and was successful, did he do anything at all to placate to moderates or to Democrats?
This is a party, the Republican Party, of common sense.
Guys, we got to talk about the left melting down about Gavin Newsom. Okay, I posted a video earlier. Gavin Newsom, this guy came out and said the Democrat Party is toxic. Obviously, all of you guys know that, and any Democrat who's being honest with themselves knows that. It's just that some people like toxicity. You know, they don't like being formal and having decorum. They like to be angry and just rage-filled and, you know, burn stuff, apparently, and key cars and shoot up dealerships. They love this type of stuff. But the average American doesn't, okay? The average person is not a deranged leftist lunatic. The average person doesn't want men playing in women's sports. The average person wants a strong economy, a closed border with laws that actually make sense, where when you follow the rules, you're rewarded, and when you don't, you're punished. That's what the average American citizen wants. But the fake news is over here melting down at what Gavin Newsom said. Take a look at a couple clips here.
You said earlier this month that Democratic voters are justified in being, quote, angry. I want you to listen to what your fellow Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom said this weekend.
These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. The problem with the Democratic brand, we talk down to people, we talk past people. We're in a panic. I get it, for good reason. Yes. This guy's not screwing around.
Right.
But we need to own our mistakes. So we need to own what's wrong with our party.
Governor Moore, do you agree with that assessment of your party? Is the Democratic Party brand toxic right now?
Well, I think that this is not a new thing, because people have policies that haven't worked for them.
Governor Gavin Newsom went so far as to say the Democratic brand is toxic right now. Senator, those are powerful words. Do you agree that the Democratic brand is toxic?
I do agree that the Democratic Party brand is really problematic, and I think that it is a brand that is, with all respect to my colleague from California, is associated with New York and with California, is associated with the educated elites in this country, and not anymore with working people in this country.
You think the Democrat Party brand is toxic? I never heard Kristen Welker show any emotion ever. That was the closest thing. You know, the Oscar goes to, that's the closest thing I've ever seen from her showing any type of emotion, because I do think that she's like confused. What? Whatever do you mean? You mean the party that tried to lock up their political opponent on cornstarch charges, and the party that removed the president from the ballot, and the party that said so much cruel stuff that they almost killed the guy multiple times, and the party that is actively going out and keying Teslas and blowing buildings up? Like, they literally blew up an RNC building, okay, some sort of GOP building. They literally burned it.
Officials in Albuquerque, New Mexico are investigating an alleged arson attack targeting the city's Republican Party headquarters. The Albuquerque Fire Department says it responded to the call right before 6 a.m. on Sunday, and the building's entryway, which you're looking at, suffered most of the damage. You can see the structural damage to the ceilings, to the floors, and much of the interior was left charred from the smoke. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. And this message was left spray painted on the side of the building. Look at it. It reads, ICE equals the KKK. our heroic ICE officers analogized to a dark part of American history. The New Mexico Republican Party reacted on X saying, quote, "This horrific attack fueled by hatred and intolerance is a direct assault on our values, freedoms, and our right to political expression."
Right? The party that does all of that, they're toxic. You damn right, Kristen. You dang gum right. Of course they're toxic. That was a stupid question. Better not be Caitlin Collins. Caitlin Collins ain't gonna ask this question because she's gonna get cooked. Caitlin Collins been getting humiliated by the Trump administration. We're not gonna talk about her right now though, but we got John Fetterman, okay, low-key based John Fetterman, also reacting to the overall concept of Democrats being toxic.
Why is the Democratic Party viewed as toxic by so many? Like, even people inside the party acknowledge that.
I think their primary currency was shaming and scolding and talking down to people and telling them, hey, I know better than you, or you're dopes, or you're a bro, or you're ignorant, or, you know, don't you, you know, how can you be this dumb? I can't imagine it. Like, and then, by the way, they're fascists. How can you vote for that? And, you know, when you're in a state like Pennsylvania, like, I know and I love people that voted for Trump, and they're not fascists. For example, you know, the new leadership of the DNC, the vice chair, you know, abolish ICE. And now the other thing saying, you know, defund the police and those things. You know, I'm concerned that we really haven't paid attention on what happened, and have we looked up at the scoreboard and been like, oh, by the way, we've lost.
Now it makes sense for him. He's in Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania is the quintessential swing state, essentially. So, I mean, they could go either way. They could go blue. They could go red in the presidential election. We know how that went. They went red. Meanwhile, they have, you know, a Democrat governor, Josh Shapiro, right? And Fetterman is a senator, Democrat senator, beat out Dr. Oz, who is a much more well-known individual than Fetterman. Nobody knows. Hell, people still don't know who the hell Fetterman is outside of Pennsylvania, or people who watch channels like this, right? So everybody knows this, but I want to react to Piers Morgan because this guy has a way with words. He points out the very obvious stuff in words akin to a magician, okay? Like, low-key, if this dude was an American citizen, which he's not, if he was, this guy, even though he's a bit of a leftist, somewhat of a leftist, he actually may not be a bad politician. Now, I think he's making too much money to do that now, so he probably would never do it. Same thing for Stephen A. Smith. However, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about. At least recently, he's speaking common sense. Without further ado, let's go ahead and react to what he had to say about this.
The Democrats are toxic for one reason. If you want to know why they're in the state they're in, just ask all of them two questions. What is a woman, and should biological men be in women's sport? If they are unable to answer the first question, and if they say in the second one, yeah, that's fine, that's the problem. Right there, they have gone completely crackers. And I say that as somebody who's more on the kind of Bill Maher side, particularly, I guess, historically. But I agree with Bill. That's why I'm pleased Bill's going to see President Trump. They've got to get with the program that common sense is where most Americans now want to be.
How do you think it's going to
go? Bill Maher did. I want to be there, don't you? Kid Rock, Dana White, President Trump, Bill Maher. Not Brian Kilmeade.
I know.
But I would love to be there. I think it's great. I'm actually doing Bill's show in a couple.
So I'm curious about this meetup. Is this going to be like a private meeting, or is this going to be a televised meeting? Because if it was, you know, if they had a camera up in there, this would be glorious. But, you know, people would be showboating for the camera. So I don't know. Anyway.
I think he's a refreshing voice of common sense in a party that's gone mad. And I think he could have said no. But actually, yes, as he said, and I really like this, there's something incredibly respectful about being invited to the White House, and it's a great honor to be invited to the White House.
How do you think the party is going to respond to that, though?
Oh, well, all the woke left will go completely nuts. They'll probably go around and torch his car like they're doing to Elon Musk, because they have no way of combating policy. I mean, look at the Elon Musk thing. Again, if you want to know how nuts these people have got, Elon Musk has sacrificed his business stuff for however long he's going to do this, for no money,
He's leading a team of people to try and reduce government overspending and waste. I wish he was doing that to the federal government in the UK. And what's his reward? All over America now, people torching Teslas, petrol bombing them, targeting people who are driving Teslas. I said on X last night, this is making me want to go and buy a Tesla, to which Elon replied, thank you, because I'm sure he's feeling a little bit vulnerable right now in terms of his business being actively targeted, and they're trying to destroy it.
And it's
because the guy.
So Democrats love the electric car.
These people used to love Elon Musk. They used to see him as the savior, the green energy guy, bringing energy, these cars to green energy cars to America.
Doesn't that prove a point to you that politics over everything with Democrats? You know, again, not every single person, but you know, hit dogs holler. So if it don't apply, let it fly. But these people don't care about principles, man. They'll betray them principles in a second. Look at these split. If it means that they could get a little lick on somebody who they disagree with politically. Democrats love opportunities to hate somebody. They use their virtue signaling to say, well, these people are so evil, we could hate them. We could even harm them because they're bad. That's what you do to bad people, right? You harm them. You do bad stuff to them. You spit on them. You rub poop on their car. Like, you do whatever the hell you want to them. In some cases, even kill them. That's how some people are. A lot of people have threatened to kill conservatives, Elon Musk. I mean, all kinds of crazy, deranged people. There's videos I see almost every day with people threatening to kill the president and Elon Musk. That's how crazy it is, guys. Like, stay off of X in terms of that, but follow me on X if you're on there. Black Anomalies is what I'm calling it.
They all loved him. And now, because he has aligned himself to Donald Trump, now he's the enemy, and they can't crush him on policy. They want to crush him with violence.
Well,
I think it's
this
disgusting.
made me feel better. Only 100 people showed up to one of the rallies, at the Tesla plant.
But in New York, it was a big one.
And they've happened all over the world, but I think it's going to backfire because he's trying to save us money so that we don't go bankrupt, so we can keep our country.
I watched, I thought the Brett Baer thing was fascinating.
So good.
Really good, wasn't it? With Elon and all those other business leaders who have all given up their time. And the way they talked through what they're doing and what they're finding, the scale of the waste is actually terrifying.
I know.
And the idea that for exposing this and for saving Americans money, which is what they're doing, that you then become the devil who must be targeted, destroyed with violence, I think is a shameful moment for everybody on the left in America. And they've got to stop this right now.
And guess what? You ain't heard hardly a peep out of no Democrats whatsoever. And the Democrat politicians have been quiet when asked directly, oh, I don't support violence. But that's all they say. They want Donald Trump to get out there and basically grovel and bow. I'm sorry about January 6th, even though that was a setup and he said to go peacefully. They want him to like be thrown in prison and grovel about this for eternity. But you got people, they're promoting violence. I just showed a video yesterday, Jasmine Crockett out here saying you got to knock Ted Cruz in the head. But nobody wants to bat an eye at any of this stuff. We're going to fight them this, that, and the third. They always talking about fighting and fighting harder. And it's like, how much harder can you fight? They tried to kill the man twice. These people are crazy, guys, but these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. You think the Democrat Party is toxic? Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Gavin Newsom says that the Democrat brand is toxic. How dare he talk about how toxic the Democrat brand is when he contributes to the toxicity of the Democratic brand?